Thank you all for being here today and attending the NSGIC Annual Hybrid Conference. I'm so pleased you are here. My name is Jamie Chesser, and I am the Director of Programs with NSGIC. It is a beautiful fall day here today in Denver, Colorado. That's where I sit, and I hope it is fantastic where you are too. First, a big thank you to all of the election officials and administrators across the country. We appreciate your service and your commitment to our democracy. So I'm happy today to have this time with you to share a recap of what we have been up to as a project over the last year. It's kind of hard for me to believe that the last time I spoke with you all and gave you an update was at the NSGIC Virtual Annual Conference in September of 2020, so just about a year ago. This update will be brief and certainly information-packed, so let's go ahead and get started. So if you don't mind, I'd like to take just a slight quick detour to share the mission of our project. I think it's always important to share this. Every presentation that I give and every chance that I get, I like to share our mission. Our number one priority is getting the right ballot to the right voter. Every voter in this country should feel confident that their vote matters and counts. And to make that happen, we have been working hard over the last year. So let me share some of the key activities that we put energy, expertise, and focus on this past year. And just as a little preface, these awesome activities are in no particular order. So although not identified in our project scoping for phase 2, the Geo-Enabled Elections audience craved webinars and encouraged us to do as many as we could. So we did. We jumped at that opportunity. We were able to host and organize 2 webinars and participate with ESRI, the National Association of Counties, and the National Conference of State Legislatures in another. The topics were relevant and important to the opportunities and challenges election officials and professionals in the space are facing. Everything from GIS and cybersecurity to redistricting and adapting election strategies to the COVID-19 world. The main focus areas for this phase of the project were the pilot program, training, and advocacy. You can think of it almost like a 3-legged stool. Utilizing expertise among our steering group, which is made up of GIOs from across the country, and our circle of advisors, which is made up of election officials across the country, as well as in partnership with the Center for Tech and Civic Life, we delivered a package of 5 synchronous virtual trainings in May and June of this year, 2021. With nearly 200 attendees in any given course, instructors from CTCL shared just how the 5 best practices for integrating GIS into elections work. In July and August of this year, 2021, the synchronous courses were packaged up for asynchronous consumption, so anytime and anywhere. Written for election professionals around the country, GIS professionals are also highly encouraged to complete the series, especially if they plan on working side by side with an election official to integrate GIS into elections. As we finish up phase 2 of the project, it ends the end of this year, we are working diligently on tying a nice big red bow around our advocacy toolkit. Advocacy is a large priority for the project in phase 2. We heard loud and clear at the 2020 Elections Geo Summit that this work is important to the community. So we committed to creating a kit of 6 tools for those interested in learning more about passing legislation around GIS integration in elections. Some of the tools that are in the toolkit are on the slide here. So we have a 3-pager on building statutory language to advance GIS in elections. We are in the process of creating a 1-pager called The Network That Makes It Possible: Important Relationships for State Election Directors. We have recorded a video cast called Passing Geo-Enabled Elections Legislation. It's a conversation with New Jersey Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker. You may all remember him from the 2020 Elections Geo Summit. And then lastly here on the list is a readiness assessment. So is your state ready to pass geo-enabled elections legislation? And we'll have a couple more tools as well. Check back in soon at elections.nsgic.org. The toolkit will be complete late October, early November. And finally, a year has not gone by where we did not put significant emphasis on our pilot program. And I am amazed and just wowed by how much our pilot program has grown since 2017. This year, as you can see on the slide, in 2021, we had 12 pilot projects running, and this was over the last 6 months. This class, this 3rd class of pilot projects started in March. We're calling them the class of 2021. And as many of you may already know, the program, this pilot project program, was built off of the best practices released in September of 2019. State and county teams have participated in the program. They determine their own goals and write their own plans. They certainly endeavor to complete all the goals and tasks within their plan, but they do the best they can with their resources and capacity. Our goal from the beginning for the pilots was to do what you can, because this is a growth project. And we see the role of the Geo-Enabled Elections Project team as being a megaphone for these projects, amplifying the great work that they are doing. And you can see some of the project work that the 12 pilot projects are working on right now on the slide. Lots of relationship building between the GIS side of the house and the election side of the house. There's several county prototypes happening where a state joins the pilot project program and they work with one of the counties in the state to integrate GIS into elections. There's several projects that are focusing in on spatial data audits or making sure that voters are in the right precinct and district. There's lots of geocoding happening where we're taking addresses and creating point data from those addresses. And then certainly there's election boundary management happening as well. We have learned a lot as a project over the last year. And first, I think we learned this, that alone we can do so little, and together we can do so much. This is a quote from Helen Keller. And I firmly believe that it does take a village to accomplish big things. And I like to think of this project as a tide that lifts all boats. So many people are willing to help in this community and give the effort and put forth the effort for the good of many. We have also learned the following: that the GIO, the Geographic Information Officer, or the equivalent, is an important partner of a state election director. We've learned that state election directors are more aware of GIS than ever and see the value of the technology for election data management and administration. We also, very excitedly, are seeing states budgeting for geo-enabled elections. We are seeing NSGIC as a trusted source for integrating GIS and elections. And we're seeing voter registration systems, we are hearing voter registration systems must be built on geographic information systems. GIS and election professionals are awesome people, and it has been my experience that they like working with and learning from one another. So what is next? What can you expect over the remainder of 2021? One of the first things that we'll be doing in these last 4 months is taking a look at the state election director survey results from our June 2021 survey. We worked on this survey alongside the state election director from Michigan. The results are really compelling, and we wanted to share those results with the community. So we're going to put together a brief report showcasing those results. In addition, like other pilot project years, in 2021, we will put together a pilot project summary of our 12 pilot projects. We also will be holding the 3rd annual Elections Geo Summit. And the summit date will be Thursday, December 9th. You're hearing it here first. And we're really excited to bring the community together once again. More details on that to come. Certainly, we'll be putting together a phase 2 report for our grant provider, the Democracy Fund Voice. And we're looking forward to continuing this important work with this community. As many of you know, Secretary Veronica de Graffenried has been a part of the project's circle of advisors since the beginning of the project. She is a fierce advocate for GIS integration in elections. Last year, she shared this quote with me, and now I would like to share it with you. My participation in the Geo-Enabled Elections Project has strengthened my resolve to continue leveraging GIS technology in elections administration and GIS modernization efforts to help reinforce dynamic relationships with other government stakeholders who directly and indirectly impact elections administration. I found this to be a very powerful quote. People are our most important asset. I firmly believe that. Build those relationships, listen to one another, and have the important conversations. And I truly believe if we do those things, we can make progress on what matters most. I would argue our democracy is one of those things. So thank you for being here today. I hope you will stay in touch. My door is always open. Please reach out if you're interested in learning more. And remember, GIS in elections is here to stay. Thank you.